guys, and welcome to another review. Today we are reviewing a Final Fantasy 15 roleplay. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name. You can see it on my screen there. I will make an absolute dog's breakfast of it. So this is on a pro board site, which is very different to the J-Sync boards that I'm familiar with. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what we've got here. So they're currently open. They opened as of the 1st of the 12th, 2017, and that means that they've been going for properly going for just over a month. So I like this. This looks cool. But looking at the top half of the site, I have to admit that I'm a little underwhelmed. It does look a little bit unfinished, if that makes sense. Especially the white, so the white's fine, but you've also got the blue links. It just doesn't look complete, and there's a lot of space there that could be used better or possibly condensed down a little bit so that you've got less of a scroll to get down to where all of the action actually happens. So I would look at maybe getting a horizontal banner that's going to take up more of that space, creating a little box to put your announcements in, just sort of organize this a little bit better, so that you've got so that it makes more of an impact without looking like things are just sort of placed on the page. I don't know how Pro Boards does it anymore, to be honest. So I don't know what level of control you've got over that, but as you can see, it does look quite empty here on my screen. So if we scroll down, we'll see what we've got. So you've got your starter information, which is always good. Again, the blue links. I have this thing against blue links. If you like them, that's perfectly fine. There is nothing wrong with that. I do not like it. It screams to me that it's default. It screams default. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that except that my head just goes, nah. So yeah, feel free to colour your links. It would certainly make my little head happy. So we've got your rules. This is one thing I don't understand about the community at the moment. Is this the whole post template thing? They can be done extremely well. They can be done in a way that adds a lot to the post, but then they can also be done in a way that takes a lot away from the post. So what I'm seeing here is we've got all of this marvelous space and then this tiny little spot for actual text. And remembering that the point of the game is to write. So if you're not making the most of your space for writing, it kind of, I don't know, it seems to defy the purpose of the forum if you start shrinking it down to these tiny little boxes. Especially when you've got these points that are longer, they're going to look so much better in a wider space. So I would look at possibly expanding that, writing up a new post template or something like that, just making the most of all of this space. Because remember that people with smaller screens, it is going to shrink down. And for people with wider screens, like mine, it will take up that space where needed. So that's the one. Excuse my horrible typing. It's I've got extremely long nails at the moment. No, that's not the one I want. Where is that coming from? Anyway, that would be my recommendation, and possibly bringing this in as well. If it bothers you that there's so much space either side, you could look at doing that. If I can find the content. Proboards is weird. I do not understand proboards, so if there are things that I'm listing here that cannot be done, that's more than likely. It's normally this container, the wrapper, is the one that I want. So maybe bringing that down to 80% or even 70 if that's what you like. But you will need to make changes outside of that as well. But yeah, as you can see, when I've got my full screen available, it's quite wide and a little bit bare. Community aspirations is a topic that I love to see. Setting out your goals as a community is always a fantastic way to make sure that you get the right sort of people into your board, the sort of people that you can write very well with. And I love that you've included that people can explore different themes respectfully. That's a very important thing in roleplay, I feel. So, plot. I did read this earlier, and it's awesome. So that's really I am a fan of Final Fantasy. I'll be honest, I'm a fan of Final Fantasy 14 Online. I had so many feels during that game, and just Stormblood was incredible. I haven't played any of the other games in a long, long time, and I certainly haven't played 15. So I don't have any idea of what's going on here, but they're such complex stories, and to take on something like that is just incredible. Quick start guide. One thing I will say is if you haven't got it finished, please don't list it. It's a strong indicator of not quite being ready yet. Aside from that, if you do want to have this as the quick start guide and you want to keep it there for now, link these. I know they're linked above, but if you put them in here in a nice little list, this will serve as your interim quick start guide until you've got a more developed post set out. Character creation. This is nice and short. I like it. I love nice and short. When you are doing lists, try and do them consistently. This is just an editor thing. You've got... Oh no, that's not even a list. Okay. I take that back. But creating a new character, you could possibly do a couple of steps to do that as well. It'll create a bit of balance and give people who are creating a new character a much more solid idea of what you need them to do. Because you've got, please remember to have a first name and surname tacked in there, and it's it's a little less clear than this nice little post here. So that's something to think about. What fascinated me about this is your skill system, which I can't even imagine how much work has gone into this. It's quite excellent. One of my favorite things about Final Fantasy XIV Online is all of the skills and professions. So seeing that carried over into an RP board is pretty exciting. So you've got... Yeah. I will always advocate for lists over block text, especially in information topics. Being able to take out those key points and highlight them in a way that people can just sort of, yep, tick them off as they go down is so much easier than being able to find the same information in a justified paragraph. I hate justified paragraphs. I much rather a ragged right, but that's me, that's my eyes, and I find that hard to read. Giving people headings and lists with like properly denoted lists tends to be much easier to follow for information of this sort of type. Bit of a guide to magic, which is this. That's fine. Leveling up. This is so cool. Um, what isn't here is how to level up. So is this something, is it like the skills levels where you need to go back and ask staff to review your threads and see if you need to level up or something like that? I'm not 100% sure on how that works, so you might need to add something like that. This is also fantastic. Um, I love these guys. And these guys. I rode one of these all over Eorzea. It was amazing. Let's go have a look. Yes. So yeah, that's nice and self-explanatory. Actually, I'll go back there for a second. Seeing this as it is, there's nothing wrong with that. There is no need for a post template, if you ask me. You can do some awesome things without them. Um, you can see how this just, it takes up all of the available space in a nice, presentable way, and yeah, it would be destroyed by a post template, if you ask me. The list of links doesn't come up in here, so I'm not sure if that's by design or whether that's something you want to change, but I keep looking for them every time. Come on, internet. Right. Bounty hunts. This is cool. I love the idea of a bounty hunt. I also love that you can have a party here. And they all display in there. Like that's really awesome. Like, I love that idea. It will go a long way to encouraging people to write with each other. I just hope that it doesn't take away from people finding each other randomly as well. But then, I guess that's what taverns are for. Having spent enough time in the Adventurers Guild myself, yeah. Okay, so that's all cool. I have no idea who any of these people are, but yep. Nice lot of stats and stuff. For anyone who is familiar with the series, this is a fantastic, fantastic setup. Because the problem with a Final Fantasy board is that you do get so into that whole level up sort of thing that it's just, you can really easily lose that in an RP board. Okay, so this is cool where you've got the beast types. That's a nice setup for a board like this. And party requests. I think as far as people who aren't familiar with Final Fantasy getting into it, it's going to depend very heavily on where they come from. So if you've got people coming from the RP community as it is on RPGD, you're going to get a lot of people who are very confused by this system. You're going to have to do a lot of work to explain how leveling up and magic and all that sort of thing works in this more tabletop style system. Whereas if you've got people coming from a Final Fantasy background that do have a bit of a D&D background as well, they're going to love this. This is fantastic. I've not actually seen a board like this in a long time. It's not my sort of thing, but I've got a lot of respect for what you've got here, and it's a huge project. It's very cool. But But yeah, there's a few aesthetic things that I would look at changing around. Mostly this, you want this to make as much impact as possible. You want people to see your name, your banner image, a couple of little announcements. Announcements aren't necessarily something that you have to put on the front. They can be very well done as a forum, which is what I tend to do, um, and stuff. Possibly even look into a sidebar or something like that. That's cool, but I did not know that those slid across, so maybe that's just me being dumb. So, what else have we got to look at? Ooh, an MP3 player. Very nice. Okay, so you've got your... Ah, there we go. That's your Discord. That looks like a delicious pizza. Can I have that pizza? Okay. Just wanted to test how that works, because... Oh, this is WidgetBot. Cool. I need to look into this, I think. But yeah, this doesn't look like a chat box either. So I would look into maybe giving that a bit of a... Put it in a div, give it a bit of a... bit of style, and make it really stand out as a proper chat box, because until I saw that, I actually didn't realize that it was your Discord there. So I hope that I've been able to give you something useful to work with. What you've got here is quite unique in our community. It's going to be a lot of work. I cannot imagine the amount of work that is going to go into maintaining skills and levels and stuff like that, and drops and all sorts of stuff. But it's so cool that someone is doing this, and it's so cool that it does not lose what Final Fantasy is. Um, so yeah, I think you're on a really good track, and I think you're going to do very well. But yeah, there's not much else that I can really add here. And apologies if anything that I have said is impossible due to it being pro boards. I have no idea what to do with pro boards. Um, but yeah, I wish you all the best, and thank you for requesting a review. I hope that it's been helpful.